Boom! Welcome back to Nick White Classics. We're back live, and today I want to talk about some classic comic books. We are going to talk Marvel versus DC. So, in the mid 90s, I was a huge comic book mark. So, I want to share a few comics from my collection. So, in 1996, there was a crossover event for Marvel and DC, and so you can see they published a series of comics together. And Brett is in the chat, said he's more of a Marvel guy. That's great. So am I, man. But in the '90s, man, when these two merged, I mean, there's really nothing like it. They took all of the greatest writers and artists from Marvel and DC, and they came together and collaborated on a handful of books, starting with All Access. And so, this is a four-part comic series that really talks about, the origins of how the two universes came together. It all has a lot to do with this character named Access. So let's just flip this to issue number 2. And you can see Jubilee and Robin, and then Batman and Doctor Strange on issues number 2 and 3. And yeah, this is awesome for a number of reasons, but like just to sort of recap the story, like how did the two universes come together, right? Essentially, there's two cosmic entities that came to a consensus that each different universe complements one another, and so they decided to come together to form one universe, and that had very much to do with this character Access. And what happened, of course, as we all know, is that the Marvel characters and the DC characters feuded. And so we had a handful of issues of the DC versus Marvel or Marvel versus DC comics. So it was a short run comic series in 1996, starting with this comic here, DC versus Marvel. And within each of the books, you're going to have fights from different characters on both sides, like classic combinations like Wolverine versus Lobo, Storm versus Wonder Woman, Hulk versus Superman, and so on. And they would battle back and forth. That's issue number 1. And man, I just remember waiting like for next month's issue to see who they're going to pit against each other next time. Such great artists. Again, just the best artists and the best writers from both DC and Marvel came together to collaborate on these. So this is issue number 3, and you can see the cosmic entities that I mentioned before. One that represents Marvel, one that represents DC. And then once they saw the feuding happen, that's when kind of all hell breaks loose. You can see you got Superboy versus Spider-Man, and that's Lobo versus Wolverine back there. Captain America versus Batman. Now remember these matchups because they're going to come into play a little bit more later on. And you can see that kicks in here on issue number 4, where they start off fighting one another, DC characters versus Marvel characters. And you can see right here, they're sort of beginning to merge. And that's when we get the Amalgam series. And I'll go to that in a moment, but I do want to quick circle back. Unlimited Access continues the story of Access, the main character that brought the two universes together, and we explore that his world a little bit further in this limited series called Unlimited Access. And this is just a 4-issue series, and you can see at the end they sort of tease Darkseid and Magneto, a legion of all new Omegas. And so this is where like they sort of tease that they come together again, and I don't believe that they published another Amalgam series. Maybe a few one-offs and that sort of thing, but the originals I have in this binder. So let's get straight to it. Let's see. Oh yeah, I'm trying to be on top of it. So what they did is released, I'm not sure, man, maybe it's like about 20 or 30 books where it combines the Marvel characters with the DC characters, and then they do one-shots or single issue stories that sort of explore the two. So Challengers are the Unknown combined with Fantastic Four in this one. And I haven't read these books since they came out in 96. But it's again the best of the best on both sides, both DC and Marvel, and they're going to combine the superheroes, and then the villains are also combined too. So it's really fun stuff. Then we have the exciting X Patrol. So man, you have the X-Men combined with um, the Doom Patrol, which is great. They have a HBO series based on the Doom Patrol, or this might be X Factor because I think that's Cable's amalgam character. So yeah, Doom Patrol and X Factor, and then here we have Superboy combined with Spider Man to make Spider Boy. And you can see featuring the Legion Galactic Guardians 2099. So this is the what is it? The Legion of Superheroes combined with the Guardians of the Galaxies to create these other secondary characters there. In this, the Spider Boy team up. Okay, and then we also have the Magnet Men featuring Magneto. So I honestly don't know what the DC. Again, I'm more of a Marvel head, right? Just like you, Brett. So I know that it's obviously Magneto from the X-Men's villain, but I'm not sure the Magnet Men. I'm not sure what DC character that is. Showdown with the Sinister Society. So it's obviously a combination of the Sinister Six and some society. I'm not sure. Again, not a huge DC head. Yeah, they literally fused the characters together and they created like a fictional like a brand new fictional story on based on the origin of the characters, put them in different scenarios, and not just the lead heroes but also the villains too. Probably my favorite is Dark Claw, and obviously that combines Batman and Wolverine. I think still to this day, Batman and Wolverine are probably my two favorite characters of all time. So Dark Claw is awesome, and this is Dark Claw Adventures. So obviously, this is like a play on Batman Adventures, like the animated series on Fox. This is a great one. The two, yeah, it's just super dark superheroes, and then we got to stop Fiend Fang Flame #1. So JLX Unleashed. So this is obviously a combination of the X-Men and the Justice League, which is fun. And then we have Bat Thing, which is a combination of, what is it? Not the Swamp Thing. Is it yeah, it's the Swamp Thing and the Bat, I think. Ah, man, I don't recall what that one would be. Abomination. So, is it the Man Thing? And no. What is it? The Swamp Thing for sure, and then it's not Batman because that's also DC. I'm not sure what that one is. I should look that up though. I'm not sure what that combination was. Again, I haven't read these since the 90s, man. And then we got Lobo the Duck, which is a funny one. Obviously, you combine Lobo with Howard the Duck, trapped in a world he never fragged. So again, as the two sort of came together, they created these amalgam characters where you combine characters from Marvel, characters with DC, and they become a new character with like a new origin story, and sort of combine the best of both worlds. And what was really cool about this is they also, when it comes to the initial kickoff, which is Marvel versus DC, in order to decide who would win which matchup, they had fans vote. So you could fill out a form within a comic magazine and send it in, and the most votes wins. So here we have Jonah Hex combined with Generation X, which Generation X was one of my favorite comics. So the Most Wanted Mutants. Then we have X Patrol again. So this is X Factor and Doom Patrol, which is great. Look at Beastling. You got the Green Beast looking awesome. Elastigirl, Niles Cable. You can see they combine the two, the characters from both Doom Patrol and X Factor. Shatter Starfire. Yeah, this is great. And again, best writers and best illustrators from both sides of the aisle here. Yeah, Generation X is dope. And basically the characters that would fight each other in Marvel versus DC essentially once the battle was over, those two characters would come together and combine to create like a new amalgam character, which would get their own one-shot issue. Another Spider Boy, which is, you know, again, Spider-Man and Superboy combined. With great power comes great possibilities. Awesome. Okay, then we have another Magneto and the Magnet Men. You know, just awesome art, man. Look at this. Matsuda, 1996. This is amazing. Good, great, amazing art. Then we got Speed Demon, which is the Flash combined with Ghost Rider. Yeah, absolutely. So Marvel and DC combined together to create a third company called Amalgam Comics. And so it was a subsidiary of both Marvel and DC. They combined to create a new company in order to publish these amalgam characters. Then we got Assassins. Assassins. Okay, I'm not sure what this combines, to be honest. Your guess is as good as mine on this one. The artwork is amazing. I'm not sure who this combines. I can jump over here because that's obviously Super Soldier, so that's a combination of Superman and Captain America, you know, combined. And then Assassins is no idea. I'm going to skip over that one because I'm not sure who that combines. The next we have Amazon, which, again, if you looked at the cover of the Marvel vs. DC comic book, on the cover, you saw that Wonder Woman and Storm fight. And so they have a battle within that comic, and then once the two universes merge, then we get Amazon. Yeah, you're right. It is a combination of characters from Daredevil and Justice League. I think you're right. So here we have Doctor Strange Fate. So you have Dr. Fate and Doctor Strange combined to create this mystic character. Then we have Bullets and Bracelets, which I thought was also very fun. It's obviously the Punisher and Wonder Woman combined into a series here. Castle and Dana together again, which is great. JLX, super fun, man. You got Justice League and X-Men combined. You know, and they even put this message in their own book at last. You know, they totally created this amalgam universe and swept up the entire audience, man. The 90s was a great time to collect comics. Okay, and then down to the last one. Here it is. We saved the best for last. This is the OG Legends of the Dark Claw, which is clearly a combination of Wolverine and Batman. And this one is not screwing around, man. This is hardcore. This is like, yeah, the darkness of Wolverine and the darkness of Batman sort of combine into, yeah, super heavy amalgam combination of the two characters. So, yeah, man, if you haven't read these, I'm pretty sure that you can access them online to give them a read, or visit your local comic shop and pick them up, because these are fun reads, great artwork. Again, it's the best artists and the best writers from both Marvel and DC in the 90s, which, you know, arguably, yeah, a great time for comics. So really, that's it. I know that, you know, I'm not much of a, you know, collector when it comes to modern comics, but I do have a pretty nice collection of comics from the 90s. So I just wanted to share it with everybody real quick and show some classic comics on the channel. Blade comics, the question is, I'm not sure. It's hard to say, man. They definitely didn't combine Blade with another character to give him his own book, but it's possible, like in one of those books, Blade was combined with somebody. You know, a lot of times they'll have just like a couple panels with a character, but they won't necessarily have their own book. But yeah, that's it. I just wanted to go live real quick and share my amalgam Marvel vs. DC comics. Yeah, absolutely, PJ. Thanks for tuning in. Make sure you double tap the video to like it and subscribe to the channel. We're all about the classic content. I'm glad you appreciate the classics, man. Thanks for tuning in.